Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We are in Amrutanubhava in the 9th chapter, Jivan Mukta Dasha Kathana, means the living the joy of liberation. And here we saw in the introduction last week that the, the qualities of the Jivan Mukta Purusha and his lifestyle, how he lives, that will be enumerated, and we can study scriptures. We have understood the scriptures, but they are dry. When we want to see, is it possible to maintain our inspiration, we have to read the life histories of the biographies of the saints and sages who have applied those scriptures in their life and realized what the scriptures are indicating as the goal of our life. And it was also told that what is this Jivan Mukta Purusha Lakshana? It is that where the Sukshma Sharir, the subtle body, is absorbed or completely destroyed. Subtle body is made up of the subconscious impressions, and that those subconscious impressions are either completely absorbed or once and all completely burnt away. Then alone such a person with such condition is called a Jivan Mukta Purusha. So now there is no, it's like a fire, it's like a lamp without oil. So how long will the fire keep burning in the wick? As long as the oil is there. Once the oil is over, the fire also dies away eventually, isn't it? Same way. What is the individuality? Individuality is as long as the desires, the impressions are expressing as subconscious impressions are expressing as desire. Desires are prompting activity, and the ownership of this is going on. Till then, the life is going on. And who is Jivan Mukta Purusha? In him, anything to do or achieve, as Swamiji says, nothing to do, nowhere to go, nothing to gain. That type of condition must come. And that is only possible when we have exhausted, burnt away all the subconscious impressions. And then what happens to the body? Such a person then lives as one with the whole world. And this body is just another body, just another equipment. Because his attention is not that I am expressing through this body and I am also expressing through all the body. That is not his experience. Water does not say I am expressing through this wave and I am also expressing through other waves. Water's experience is I am, full stop. Isn't it? Exactly the same way. The Jivan Mukta Purusha also, his experience is I am. We are saying that I am includes everything, does not exclude anything. But from his point of view, there is nothing to exclude or include. Because he is all that there is. Then what is our observation? That a Mahatma also, a realized master also, eventually the body goes away. Yes, the body will eventually go away. Why is it staying? Because of the prarabdha. So eventually the body will die off. How does such an individual who has dropped his individuality live in this world? Now this whole chapter is about how does a realized master conduct himself in this world? What is his disposition? What is his angle of vision towards the I shouldn't even use the word angle of vision. How is he disposed to this world? आता आमेद सुनास झाले श्रुती सी श्रवण रिघाले आरी से उठिले लोचने सी. What happened, Amma?
Yes.
Where did you run?
No, making space for the.
Sit down, quickly sit down. Class has started. Do your hellos and highs afterwards. Sit down. Yes. Now, having reached a state of being, the fragrance smells by becoming the nose. The sound hears itself by becoming ears, or the eyes have become mirror to see themselves. Now, when is now? The story begins from the first OV of the chapter, from the first verse of the chapter, and traverses slowly and steadily, step by step, the different stages of Vyatirek and Anvaya Vichara and Sadhana indicated by Jnaneshwar Maharaj. The seeker has now reached the state of spiritual development indicated in the last OV of the previous chapter. He is firmly established in that non-dual, conscious, blissful experience of his own being. What is that state? That this is indicated by a series of examples in OVs 1 to 6. One, Vyatirek sadhana and Anvaya sadhana, what are they? That is the sadhana of exclusion and sadhana of inclusion. This is the methodology which the Vedanta employs. What is Vyatirek? Vyatirek is I am not the world, I am not the body, I am not the senses, I am not the mind, I am not the thoughts, I am the self. And then what is Anvaya? This self that I am, this self is the self which is expressing through all the bodies. So now the difference, first we withdrew from the world to recognize who we were, and now having recognized ourselves who we are, if we stop there and we come out of the meditation, the world is still there. That is the case of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Something needs to change where the oneness of vision must express itself, and for that Anvaya sadhana. And for this Anvaya sadhana in certain in devotional text, this Anvaya sadhana is done through bhavana, feeling. Because who is this Lord? These examples that we take, water, of ocean and waves, all these are to invoke that feeling that there is something amiss. That it is possible, just like water is expressing through all the oceans and waves without even calling the ocean as ocean and wave the wave as wave. Same way, this Atma that I am is not only person specific. It is the general principle. It is the substratum. It is the material that is behind everything, in and through everything. There is nothing outside it. And that inclusivity, for that you have to become available. You can't think and get to this experience of inclusivity. For that we have to be available, and we have to start thinking the way the scriptures are making us think. And then that is the Anvaya sadhana, and once that, then the sadhana is complete. Then such a person, whether he is in meditation or not in meditation, whether he is reading the scriptures or not studying the scriptures, whether he is reflecting or not reflecting, whether he is seen being angry, he is seen being eating food or not eating food, or playing with kids, or whatever he may be doing, he never loses that poise. Never loses that poise, because he is now established in himself. And here it is told that what is that? What is that poise of that non-dual, conscious, blissful experience of one's own being? What is that state, if we can call it a state? In scriptures it is called as the fourth state, the Turiya Avastha. So, what is that state? And now some examples are being taken to indicate that. आपुलेनी समीरपणे वेल्हावती विजणे की माथेची चाफेपणे बहकताती. The winds fan themselves, or the head itself becomes the champaka flower. The winds fan themselves, or the head itself becomes the champaka flower. In some parts of India, it is considered to be a Saubhagyavati Lakshana for women with living husbands to wear flowers on their hair. Or जिह्वालोधली रसे कमल सूर्य पणे विकाशे चकोरची जैसे चंद्रमा झाले. The tongue became the taste, the lotus became the sun, the moon became the chakora bird. फुलेची झाली भ्रमर तरुणीची झाली नर झाले आपुले शोजार निद्राळूची. The flowers became the bees, the young maidens became the men, the sleeper became the bed. चूताकुर झाले कोकिळ आंगची झाले मळया निळ रस झाले सकळ रसनावंत. Out of the block of gold an ornament is carved out. दिठी वियाचा रवा नागरू इया ठेवा घडिला का कोरिवा परी जैसा. The mango blossoms became cuckoos, the body became the sandalwood, the tongue became all tastes. The mango blossoms have become the cuckoos, the body has become the sandalwood, the tongue has become all the tastes. It is the same tanmatra of taste which is functioning through every tongue in the universe. If one's attention is on this principle, there is no question of likes and dislikes. All these examples only go to show that all the efforts to conceptualize the truth only creates an illusion. There is indeed no difference between knower and known in the non-dual conscious blissful existence. See, when we read you must have all heard of the Rasa Leela, Radha and Krishna's dance, isn't it? What is that Rasa Leela? The climax of that Rasa Leela is Krishna and Radha, the I thought and that thought. They are in so much oneness with each other before they begin with duality. Radha begins with duality. Krishna doesn't begin with duality, but Radha does. And as they keep dancing and the crescendo keeps increasing and the surrender is, the identification with each other is so great, the climax is Radha, as the dance is going on, sometimes Radha becomes Krishna and Krishna becomes Radha. They lose themselves. There is oneness. There are certain sadhanas given in Vijnana Bhairav and even in Yoga Shastra. You can do certain 3 days continuous meditation. Your attention should be on the middle of your tongue. Then you have to just think pizza, and the taste of pizza will come in your mouth. You have to think of any dish in this world, any fruit, the taste will come into your mouth. You don't have to eat it. This is possible. When Shirdi Sai Baba gives the food to the dog and says, I am full, this is the oneness that is being talked about. See? We understand the word empathy, not sympathy, empathy. Feeling, imagining how that other person must be feeling and invoking that feeling within ourselves. But it is, in our attention, still the other is. In Mahatma, that empathy is the constant. With everything, we are using that word, with everything in this. From his point, he is. is your condition if your finger goes into your eye? The finger is also you, the eye is also you. Are you angry with your finger? No. The same finger afterwards goes and does massage to it, isn't it? So, some masters say that, and scriptures also say that we cannot define how a realized person is. Yet, many times, many places, scriptures do a great exposition on what could be that experience like, be like, so that the seeker can contemplate and revel in that. In Gita also, in chapter 2, the last 15, 17 verses, they are about the Jivan Mukta Purusha Lakshana, how does a realized master live in this world. Then in 12th chapter, the last 6 verses, 7 verses, they are also about such a person. And in the 18th chapter also, Jivan Mukta Purusha Lakshana is given. So in this way, the conclusion reached from the above examples, तैसे भोग्य आणी भोक्ता दिसे आणी देखता हे सरल अद्वैता अफुटा माझी. In this way, in the non-dual undivided being, the enjoyed and the enjoyer, or the seen and the seer, become one. Who was the seer? Radha was the seer. Who was the seen? Krishna was the seen. And when they become one, they lose, they forget who is who in that oneness. See? So here is the eye and this is the seen. Right now it is very clear that this eye is seeing all of you. Imagine that heightened state that the eye is seeing itself, and what is itself? The seen. The duality, the separation of the seer and the seen is no longer. What is your feeling? You are seeing the body, but you are considering it to be I. So the identification with the body has gone so deep that even though it is separate, but the experience that I am the body is constant while you are living, isn't it? You don't feel this is not my eye. You don't feel this is not my arm. You don't feel this is not my backside. Everything is me only. The identification has gone so deep. Now imagine this identification with the body. There are only two ways. Either you cut off from everything or you identify with everything. So in Vedanta, we cut off with everything to realize what the real nature is. And then from that real nature, that is the Atma, the conscious self, we start suspecting it to be the common principle expressing in and through everything and everyone. Just like I know that every limb of my body, every organ of my body, every heartbeat, the blood flowing, all the cells which are throbbing in me, multiplying, dying, everything is me only, isn't it, at this moment? Is it other than me? If that nail is growing or hair is growing, everything is me only. Now imagine this experience expanded to infinity. That instead of identifying with this body, now you are one with, not identified, you are one with everything. And that oneness with everything is not on account of bodies. That oneness with everything is on account of the spirit, the consciousness which is expressing through everything. Because if you give attention to body, again separation will come. You versus me. See, this is the magic. In this way, the bhogya, the experienced, and the bhokta, the experiencer, the seen and the seer, meaning all the pairs of duality, are totally withdrawn in the non dual self. Whereto, when a seed germinates, it swells and breaks and grows in two directions, the root growing downwards and the shoot going upwards, growing upwards. After some time, the seed itself is not seen. This philosophy is called Parinamavad, like milk turning into curd. Here, Jnaneshwar Maharaj states that the creation is not an effect or parinama of Paramatma. Meaning, there is no cause and effect. Seed is the cause, tree is the effect. And when the effect expresses, the cause vanishes. Isn't it? You can't see a seed anymore after the tree is born. Similarly, Paramatma is the cause, world is the effect, or the Lord is the cause and the world is the effect. If this is our understanding, because our intellect functions only at the level of cause and effect. It's always finding cause somewhere. It always seeing effect of something. It cannot function outside of cause and effect. It has to be trained to go beyond cause and effect. And if it is addicted to thinking in cause and effect, it has to think of what is that ultimate cause which itself is expressing as all the effects without losing itself. In 9th chapter Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, I support the whole world of multiplicity without losing the oneness that I am. Isn't it? Now take that example at a personal level. You express as father, mother, daughter, sister, etc. When you identify with those roles, you have lost the plot. But you are expressing through all those roles, but you still are. You still are the one who's expressing as all those roles, and if you can continue to function as all those roles, then you are the one still. You have never lost yourself. Without you, how can the roles ever express? This is told also in the 11th chapter Bhagavad Gita, where the Vishwarup Darshan is given. Vishwarup Darshan is where the Lord says, I am the one who is expressing through Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, Sahasraksha Sahasrapad. I am the one with means infinite heads, infinite eyes, infinite legs, infinite arms. Meaning, I am the one who is functioning behind all these. This becomes the experience of a realized master. See? So creation is not an effect. Why is it not an effect? Because what is creation we have explained before or seen before? The Lord is the creator, correct? Nimitta Karan. He is the efficient cause. He is the creator of the creation. And what has he made the creation out of? Himself. He is the creator, and he himself is the material out of which he has created the creation. Now you are nodding, all of you, but you don't understand it. It cannot be understood. It cannot be understood. The closest that you can come to that the water itself is the material, and water itself has become all the oceans and waves, which is called the creation. But the shortcoming in that example is who has made the water into waves, and water is not an intelligent being. See, water is not an intelligent, it's inert matter. But here the Lord, He is all that there is. Yes, you can come for one example is coming to my mind. In dream, you are the creator and you yourself have become the entire space, air, fire, water, earth, people, their emotions, their thoughts, their convictions, birth, death, young people, old people, middle-aged people, marriage, divorce, animals, trees, rivers, mountains, everything you alone have become, isn't it? In the dream. Has it come from outside? No. Something close to that. But when do you realize that everything was you only? Only after you wake up. When you are in the dream, you don't realize that. Only after you wake up. Who is a Jivan Mukta Purusha? Who is a realized master? Who has woken up to himself. And therefore, when we wake up from the dream, we realize the whole dream was just an extension. I myself was playing with myself in the mind. When we wake up from the waking plane of consciousness, we will realize that this whole waking creation that we are experiencing is also a game we are playing with ourselves only. Beautiful, no? But for that we have to wake up. The dreamer cannot come to know the experience you are having of last night's dream. He has to wake up in order to come to know. And when he wakes up, he is not called a dreamer. What is he called? A waker. And the waker knows that the dream was just an illusion. The dream was just my mind itself became the whole thing, and you give zero value to the whole thing, isn't it, afterwards? Exactly the same way. The realized master has woken up from this waking dream, and now he gives zero value to the whole waking dream. Just like all the people, all their thoughts, all their emotions, all the seeking, all the misery, all their aspirations, all the ambitions, all the bickering, all the marriages, all the divorces was nothing but your mind alone. Same is true in the waking world also. But we think that there is some purpose. There is a purpose to this life.
Weren't you not giving everything meaning?
Say that again.
We give everything
Meaning, because we are caught up in cause and effect.
And then we believe it.
Yes.
And then we go to war because of it.
The dreamer also. The dreamer also believes he is also living a life. He is also having goals and aspirations and fears. But for some reason he wakes up by grace of God, isn't it? Why does he wake up? Some event in the dream wakes him up, isn't it? Or before going to sleep you decide, I want to get up at 5 o'clock. And then you go to sleep, you will dream also, but 5 o'clock you will wake up. So before you come into the waking world, early in the morning, the moment you wake up, you say, I am going to get realized. I am me. Then allow some event in this waking world to wake you up. Good idea, no? Let it wake. Then you are attracting, you are creating, because you are the creator only. So you created the time that you are going to wake up from the dream, isn't it, before going to sleep? So you set in your mind that I am going to wake up from this waking world, and it will happen. Something will trigger it. Could be today, while you are listening. It doesn't matter what. Waking does not. Sometimes we wake. It's not that from a dream we wake up only because we are studying Vedanta. You will never find yourself studying Vedanta in dream. You are running around with your girlfriend or boyfriend. You are 16 years old, or you are in a jungle. Depending upon how you have, or suddenly a tiger comes, or something or the other going, jumping in the valley, and suddenly you are jumping in the valley, and you know it was only a short distance, but this distance is not ending. Only you are going and going and going, and suddenly you wake up because of the fear.
Thank goodness you say it's only a dream.
That's right. Same way you will have the feeling, if I can use that word feeling, about this world also after waking up. Then you will not be serious about anything. Just like we are not serious about anything in the dream after we wake up. We don't try to continue the dream tonight when we go to sleep. No, I must go back to my dream children and dream husband and dream wife, and it was so wonderful. The food was so wonderful. I had every day I used to get a smorgasbord of all the food. Here only sandwich in the waking. You don't have those type of feelings, isn't it? The partner was so loving in the dream, so understanding. Oh, it was a dream come true. It is a dream. I must go back to that same girl. Do you think like that? You don't. Then why? Once you wake up to the waking dream, you will stop pulling the waking experience to continue tomorrow. Then you are living in the now. You're not insisting that there is a continuity. This is the beauty. Nothing is born out of the pure consciousness, nor is it the effect of anything else. The reality is born eternal, ever present, and although most ancient, fresh as ever, not affected by manifestation or unmanifestation. Where is manifestation and unmanifestation? Where is it happening? In the mind. What is manifesting? The thoughts are manifesting. Thoughts are about what? The I thought, aham vritti, and the that thought, idam vritti. And the interaction between these two is what you call as the world, isn't it? So this manifestation of thoughts, look at it in a larger sense, the waking, dream and deep sleep. The waker is the I, waking world is the that. A dreamer is the I, dream world is the that. Deep sleeper is the I, and absence of the waking and dream is the that is which is experienced, is the world. So again these two are, here it says that that this manifestation and unmanifestation is a phenomena which does not affect the reality. So appearance of the thoughts in your mind should not affect you. And most of the times it is not affected. You are not affected. You choose only certain thoughts to affect you by getting identified with them. Right now so many thoughts are going on. The senses are taking in so many stimuli. How those stimuli are coming in? By way of thoughts. But you are choosing only one stimuli. Which one? Which you are given importance to. And what you are given importance right now? The words that are coming to your ears and the eyes are seeing me. This importance. So you have chosen one stimuli and got identified with it. But there's so many things are going in at this moment, isn't it? Don't give importance to anything, not even this. Then to what? Then to the one, again I am repeating it, to the one because of whom all is taking place. Seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, thinking, all that is taking place because of someone. Not because of someone, in the presence of someone, or wrong usage of words. in the presence of someone. And right now you can know that in your presence only the thoughts are appearing in your mind, the eyes are able to see, the ear is able to hear, the tongue is able to taste, the nose is able to breathe. Everything is happening, and you have to just take a step back and be that one. That's all. Repeat it again and again. Remind yourself that I am that in whose presence, not because of. When we give importance to the world, immediately cause and effect. When we remind ourselves, I am that in whose presence everything is taking place, it will take some time, no doubt, but somewhere it will click. That I am that eternal principle, I am that uncorrupted principle, which is giving presence to manifestation and unmanifestation, but not affected by the manifestation and unmanifestation. The sun allows the manifestation and unmanifestation of day and night, but it is unaffected by the day and night, isn't it? From the sun, without sun, can the day and night appear? Not possible. Is the sun creating day and night? Is the sun creating day and night? No. Without sun, can the day and night appear? No. From the sun's point of view, is there day and night? No. Exactly is the case. Can the self become two? No. Can the manifestation and unmanifestation of thought be caused by the self? No. Is the self supporting the manifestation and manifestation? It seems yes. Can the thoughts in the mind illuminate the self? Just like can the daylight illuminate the sun? No. So can the thought the I thought in the mind, can it illuminate the self? No. Then where is day and night? Where is day and night? Appearing in its own absence. It's a phenomena. Understand? Then where are the thoughts in the mind? It is a phenomena. What is a phenomena? That which appears but actually is not there. Like the mirage waters, like the sunrise and sunset. Recognize this about yourself. Now, if you think you are the mind, you will never be able to recognize this. You have to allow the mind to keep thinking in this manner, and yet, while the thinking is going on in this manner, you have to be the presence in whose presence this phenomena is taking place. And nothing special, nothing specific needs to be done. You're in a hurry today. What happened? Radha gave him good food here. When the object in this Advaita, the non-dual conscious existence, there is no difference between the Bhokta and the Bhogya. There is no difference between the seer and the seen. There is no difference between the I thought and the that thought, because both of them are only appearing. We give it too much importance. I versus you. But in the mind, I is also thought, you is also thought. And what is a thought? Which is just appearing, but actually is not there. What do you mean? That I am not a thinking person? Yes, you are not a thinking person. You are the absolute person. Redefine yourself. See? When the object of taste and the tongue come together, only taste remains. The taste itself becomes the jnata in one place and jnaya in the other. Means the taste itself becomes the knower in one place and the known in another. When the ear, the knower, and the sound, the known, come together, at that junction, there is only knowledge of sound. Meaning, every time the erring personality, what is when there is knower and known, knower is born because of known, subject and object. And what is the knower? The erring personality, the fictitious personality. But when they come together, then perception is taking place without a knower being, perceiver being born. Knowledge is taking place, but no personality is born. So right now I'm seeing you, a seer is born and you are the seen. But if the oneness is there, seeing will take place, but no seer will be born. Experience will be taking place, but no experiencer will be born. This is how the Mahatmas are. They move through the world, seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, experiencing, talking, feeling, everything. But no seer, hearer, toucher, taster, smeller, talker, experiencer, knower. No personality is born. How is that possible? You cannot work it out. But it is so. We have given you examples like the sun and the day and night, and water and the ocean with compared to water. That knowledge is I, which is neither the knower nor the known. Knowledge without duality of the knower known is Paramatma, is the absolute truth. See, comes to the same thing. So don't consider yourself to be a knower. Better remain, I don't know. Anyone says, who are you? I don't know. Let them get cheesed off. Who cares? But I know you are the husband. If you know, you tell me. But I don't know. Be a nobody. Swamiji says no. Be a nobody. Be a nobody. Be a nobody. Don't become somebody. Because somebody is always because of someone. Someone to relate with. In this way, when the jnata jneya, knower known, dhyata dheya, bhed, the meditator and the meditated upon, is absorbed, or thinker and thought, is absorbed into its own source, one discovers that the tongue alone has become at one point the knower and at the other point the known. When you come to realize, stand apart, how? Just like you know, at one point you have become the right hand and at one point you have become the left hand. At one point you have become the seer yourself, you are the eyes, and at one point you are the ears. You know all the functions that are taking place are you only. But this is at physical level. Exactly the same way. When we go into come to be the real one who we are, then we will see we ourselves have become the knower and the known. We ourselves have become the pure consciousness itself has bifurcated into becoming the aham vritti, the I thought, and the idam vritti, the that thought. Whole world is a play between I and that. See? And that is what is being told here. The ears themselves have become the hearer and the heard. The fragrance has become the nose and the at one point and the smell at the other. The head has become the support and the champaka flower the supported. The lotus opens only in the presence of the sun, so the sun itself has become the lotus, etc., etc. The thought reminds one of Tagore's poems on the cow in a meadow which grazed and grazed and grazed until she became the grass. See? If you see now, take simple example in the daily function, worldly life also. Young kids, they become so one with Michael Jackson, they start talking, dancing, walking like Michael Jackson, isn't it? They're becoming so one with him. The child is looking up to the mom and is so in love with mom and everything. The child starts talking, behaving, acting, walking like mom only. See? And the identity is lost. If, once you grow up, then you don't know which is the mom and which is the daughter. Huh? So here also, in the same way, when the meditator meditates on the essential nature, now take the example further. When the meditator meditates upon the essential nature, the meditator disappears. If these young kids keep Michael Jackson as separate to themselves, they will never become an expert dancer like Michael Jackson. They get into his skin, and that's when it starts flowing out of them naturally, isn't it? Same thing is happening here also in meditation. When you lose yourself in that higher, in that reality, in contemplation, meditation, at that time, the meditator disappears. When the dhyata and the dhyanam are rejected, what remains is the dhyaya vastu, where there is no subjectivity in relation to an object, meaning the subject is no longer calling himself the subject is no longer calling himself a subject. Subject is existing only in relation to object. Subject is relation to object. When we are saying we are objective in our approach, our attention is not on the subject, it's on something other than the subject. When we are subjective in approach, then our attention is on the subject and not on the object. Now we have gone beyond the subject also. Because subject and object, both of them are ideas in the mind only, isn't it? We have gone beyond it. And how did we go beyond it? The subject sat in meditation, withdrew from the objects and started thinking about who is this subject? Who am I? And in that the meditator disappeared. The subject meditating upon himself, he disappeared and he transcended. The Kaivalya Upanishad, verse 18 says that from the ever auspicious, undivided, undifferentiated, pure consciousness, the Bhogya, the Bhokta and the Bhoga are manifested, that is, eternally innumerable trios and also the innumerable three planes of consciousnesses are coming and going. The waker, dream and deep sleep, every day they are coming and going. See, it is a delusion within a delusion within a delusion. First is you are the self, but you consider yourself to be waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. Then out of that you give only importance to the waker. The waker also loses himself. He thinks I am the body. Then he forgets that body also. He starts thinking I am the father, mother, daughter, sister, brother, uncle, whatever. See, 3 times he has gone in, fallen. Raise yourself. And the only way to raise yourself is by contemplating on the self, which is free from all attachments. When the mind is exposed to this thought a million times, all the relative priorities lose their importance. Duty orientation is discarded because in the Lord's kingdom there is only place for devotion, not duty. Duty is the job of the ego, of the doer. The one who considers himself or herself to be the body continuously keeps harping on, I have to do my duty, I have got my responsibilities, I have got some commitment towards, I gave birth to this child and it is my duty, I got married. And why? What will society say? You don't stop there. What will society say? No, is it not right? But what is the greatest duty as a human being? What is the greatest duty? To realize your own nature. That is your greatest duty. See, in the Bhagavad Gita, the first 6 chapters are about dissolving the doer. Till 5th chapter, the doer is dissolved. First he is told, because he doesn't know how to dissolve the doer. I am so addicted to doing, how do I dissolve it? So it was told, the first step was told, perform actions without expecting results. See? And as a result, when the mind is 50% free, urge to know more gets invoked. Automatically it will get invoked. Then he is told to do karma yoga in the 3rd chapter. Perform activity with an attitude of surrender to the high. Perform, the attitude behind the action is more important than the action itself. That was told in the 3rd chapter. 4th chapter, the idea was told that offer the action before you start the action to something higher, to the Lord. During the action, also remember the Lord if you can. When the action is concluded, already we have said, take it as whatever comes, take it as a prasad, take it as a blessing. Don't expect anything. See that this whole thing is done by the actions are taking place due to the Lord himself, not because of you. He says, yeah. Tries to puts it into practice. Then in the 5th chapter it was told that the doer, the seeker, the doer, he has come to a certain level of growth and he starts seeing that it is the topic is karma sannyasa yoga. That he becomes renounced from the thoughts because he comes to this conclusion in his own observation that activity happens at 3 levels, where thought, word and deed. Thought, word and deed. Because what is activity? Movement. So actions are happening at the body level, speech is happening at the mouth level, and thoughts are moving at the mental level. But all activity, the thought appears by themselves. Whatever the thoughts are, that speech comes out. Breathing is also an activity. It is also happening by itself. And they prompt the body to also act in a particular way. And he comes to see that this activity I am not prompting, it is happening of its own accord. The desires come in the mind. I am observing the desires come, the thought comes and it prompts the body to act. Then he comes to another conclusion. He sees activity in non-activity and non-activity in activity. When he comes to this conclusion that, my God, everything is, I was unnecessarily so serious about I have to do this, I have to do that. But it was a consequence of each. The mind, his understanding is growing, he is very alert, and in that alertness, when he is applying it in his life, he comes to this conclusion in the 5th chapter. That activity is just taking place. I am not the actor. Activity is taking place. Just like the sun comes up, sun is not the doer, but activity on the earth takes place, isn't it? Like that. The boss comes into the office. He is not the doer. But in his presence, everyone is alert. Like that. The magnet is not the doer, but the iron filings start moving in the presence of the magnet. Is the magnet making them move? No. Is the magnet the iron filings? No. But in his presence, the iron filings start moving. They start vibrating. Exactly the same way. In the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the seeker, he starts seeing, observing that all activity at the mental level, at the physical level, at the at the speech level, it is happening of its own accord. I got nothing to do with it. Then naturally the next question comes, then who am I? With that question, 6th chapter begins. What is meditation? But the objectivity has not gone yet. So, in order for this I to withdraw from this, so he has done in the 6th chapter, he is withdrawn from all this. But now something must change. Now this I, he is not able to become subjective enough to transcend. Then 7th to 12th chapter, the idea of totality is introduced. What is total? That this individual mind, individual intellect, individual eyes, individual body with all the 5 senses, from the 7th chapter to the 12th chapter, this individual body, senses, organs of action, experiences is being replaced with total mind, total intellect, total senses, total seeing, total hearing, total. And who does that? The Lord. And where is the Lord? In your heart. What is his nature? Same as yours, or yours is same as him. Now this seeker starts thinking. Slowly, this I, which was individual, was made subjective, and that subject was then expanded to include the totality, and was made to see that this totality and individuality are both only happening at the level of the mind. It has got nothing to do with you, the real one. You are watching the total and you are watching the individual also. Just like, where is the total world? In dream you see the total world, isn't it? Like that you see the whole world also here. But I got nothing to do with this world. See? But without me, this individual and total world, micro and macro, cannot exist. Now find out what disposition that is. What is that position that you have to take, that the micro and the macro both express, but you are not affected? Take that position in yourself. That is meditation. And that is where the knower and the known, the meditator and the meditated upon, the seer and the seen, the hearer and the heard, and all of them will vanish. But pure experience without an experiencer will be the norm. Seeing will happen but no seer will be born. Hearing will happen but no hearer is born. Experience will happen but no experiencer is born. This is the disposition of realized masters. No personality precipitates. The Gunatita Purusha, who is established in such a non-dual, undivided being, has total freedom of existence. He is totally unconcerned whether one or the other or of the 3 gunas predominate. What are the gunas? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Purity, dynamism and inertia. Whatever the mood, it doesn't affect him. He allows. Where are these 3 gunas? At the level of the mind. Let them. He neither longs for nor is averse to any of them. This is the greatness and glory of the Jivan Mukta Purusha. This is the glory of a realized master. Which realized master? While living, who has come to know. not after, not posthumous. Great things are never done by individuals by their individual effort. Bala Gangadhar Tilak could write a commentary on the whole Bhagavad Gita in 3 months while in jail without a single reference book, all by the grace of his Guru Maharaj and his own maturity. The Jivan Mukta does not depend on any activity or person for getting any object of his desire. He has nothing to gain and nothing to lose by doing or not doing. Make your disposition like that. Don't run after anything, don't seek anything, don't run away from anything. Accept everything just as it is. Not even a single sankalpa, desire, disturbs him about doing or not doing. He does not struggle. The Sukshma Sharira is no more functioning. Sukshma Sharira, the subtle body. Subtle body, the mind. What has his mind become like? Like the mirror. It just keeps reflecting. Just keeps reflecting. There is no personality born in the mirror. I am the reflector. Without me, no, it just is. Thus, the Jivan Mukta Purusha is established in the knowledge that out of I, the supreme container, the Pancha Mahabhutas have emerged, and also the eightfold Prakriti, the Jiva, the duality, the Dvandva, the duality. This is going on incessantly from time unknown, and time is also one of the factors created in which the throb of consciousness is. But I, the supreme substratum, is not at all involved in any of these expressions, yet everything is happening. This is how a realized master, a Jivan Mukta Purusha, continue to be disposed to himself. We are saying that. He will not even say that about himself. We are saying that. The scriptures are saying that. Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying that. It's a very tricky language because here Jnaneshwar Maharaj's teacher has asked him to enumerate his experience of realization. Isn't it? So he is looking at himself and writing. Understand this point. He is looking at himself. He has analyzed every aspect of himself. The knowledge, the ignorance. So he is writing, yet he is not the writer. See? I know my mom also does a lot of poetry. I say, oh, you wrote it. For general terms, it is yes, I wrote it. But when you ask her, or I've known other people also who have got up at night in the middle of the night and suddenly they write it. You ask them, did you write it? No, I don't know who wrote it. They are not the writer. They are not conscious of writing. Yet writing has happened. So writing has happened, but writer was not born. See? So when you are functioning in this world, let the activity take place. Don't become the actor. But that is not possible by you deciding I am not the actor. No. Let that happen when you merge into yourself. You be yourself. So your attention should be on the conscious principle, the presence. Continuously have the disposition that in my presence the I thought and the that thought is coming. In my presence the breathing is going on. In my presence the heart is beating. In my presence the hunger and thirst is coming and going. In my presence the speech is happening. In my presence the body is doing whatever it has to do. In my presence the whole world as it is right at this moment is throbbing away. It is in my presence, not that I am in this world. In my presence this whole thing is happening. this way, discover yourself and be that one who is ever free. You are also ever free, but you just don't know it. You have to get to there without being the knower. I'm confused again. Good. With that confusion, you come back to next class.
Thank you, Swami.
How does this Jivan Mukta Purusha function in the world will be the next topic. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.